Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the OPT Network. Our guest this morning is Katherine Schwarzenegger. She is a New York Times best-selling author, lifestyle blogger, philanthropist, and animal activist. Katherine and the real Maverick live in California, where she blogs about their adventures, and together Katherine spreads a message of hope, defying all odds, and the joys of finding forever friends through pet rescue. This morning, Katherine joins us from California to talk about her new children's book. It's called simply Maverick and Me. Katherine, good morning and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
So, Katherine, let's first of all, before we talk about Maverick and Me and the excitement that we know you must be feeling about having your first children's book, tell us about your passion for animals and animal rescue. How did that start?
Well, I've always been a huge animal lover my entire life. I've loved animals and loved being around animals, so that goes way back. But a couple of years ago, I just kind of happened to stumble upon a store here in Los Angeles, and they needed some fosters for over the holiday break because everybody was going out of town. So my sister and I signed up, and the whole fostering experience for me was such a rewarding experience, and I got Maverick in the fostering process and had what they call a foster failure because I decided to keep him. And the whole, process of getting Maverick and deciding to officially adopt him was such a great and fun process for me. And then seeing how kids reacted to me having a dog that, came with a story because he was found under the freeway was really interesting to me and made me want to write the book to just teach kids all about, the option of animal rescue, hoping that when they decide to get their first pet that they might, choose to be taken to a shelter instead of a pet store.
Mm-hmm. And so what drew you to Maverick, and how did Maverick get his name?
Maverick got his name because I was trying to come up with some names that kind of fit him and his personality. When I got him, he was 2 weeks old and he was really sick. And then he got parvo, which for puppies is, like a death sentence for most puppies because it's like the flu for babies. Mm-hmm. And he got really sick, and it was this whole ordeal of trying to, get him the proper treatment that he needed when he was so young, and he was, had a very weak immune system. So I think what really drew me to him was not only him in general and the fact that he's very, he was really cute when he was little, obviously, but also the fact that he had a very kind of traumatic situation when he was younger. Mm-hmm. And, we worked really hard to make sure that he got all of the necessary medication and treatment at such a young age. And I think just the whole process really created a bond between him and I came up with the name Maverick just really randomly, just because I thought it was a really strong name, and he, was a really strong little puppy, and I think it fits him really well. So mm-hmm. I'm happy that I came up with it.
And so after the whole experience of fostering Maverick and then adopting him, when did you decide that this is a message that families really needed to connect with?
Yeah, well, I saw just, I have a bunch of younger cousins, and I saw how, excited they would get that they could, meet a dog that came from under a freeway, and that they, could be around a dog that was so cool looking. He's a brindle dog, so he's doesn't look like a, normal dog. People often say that he looks like a dingo or a hyena. So I think the little kids just were drawn to him because he's different looking, and mm-hmm. he looks like a tiger. And the whole, idea that he's a survivor as well was something that kids thought was really cool and would run and tell their friends. So I really just saw how kids reacted to him and meeting mm-hmm. him, and it made me want to write the book because I wanted to just teach kids all about, the many different Mavericks that are available for adoption. Because I think that, when I was younger and I got my first dog, dog rescue wasn't really a popular topic to talk about, and I didn't even know that it was an option. So I just want to teach kids and make them aware of the option. So, hopefully when they are allowed to get their first pet, they tell their parents to take them to, animal shelter to see all the amazing and incredible animals that are available there.
Mm-hmm. And so for a lot of folks who are not familiar, there are, I believe, a community of people, and it really is a community of people that really come into dog rescuing and fostering dogs, but then there's a whole other population that really has never connected with this. Talk about why, strays and dogs like Maverick, why it's so important for society as a whole to be able to understand what to do for them so that they're just not literally thrown away.
Yeah, I think just, again, creating awareness about it, because I don't think people are really aware of the amount of animals that are sitting in shelters that need homes and need a second chance at life and a second chance at love. So I think awareness is number one, but I think, it's important to note that there are a lot of different ways people can help those animals, even if they're not in a position to necessarily adopt a pet. I fostered before I got Maverick, so fostering is a great way that you can help, and also just volunteering your time and your energy and, supplies. A lot of shelters need that, especially local shelters and local rescues. So there are a lot of different ways you can help, animals in need, and just, again, being aware of the fact that there are so many different kinds of animals. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of misconceptions about dog rescue and animal rescue, such as that you can't get a puppy or you can't get a fluffy dog or you can't get a cute dog. So I think also telling people and teaching people that those are not necessarily true, and that, you can find a dog that works for you and for your family, and it's actually usually quite simple. So just being able to be aware of that, I think, is really important.
So take me through the story and how the story sort of was birthed out of you about, this is different from the books that you have done in the past. How did this, how did this really come together? Because it's beautifully illustrated and it's wonderfully simplistic that any child could really connect with the story.
Oh, thank you. I wanted to make this book for children just because I just wanted to be able to teach them about animal rescue at a young age. Mm-hmm. I always just remember, and I have such fond memories of being around animals when I was little. Mm-hmm. And so it was really important to me to be able to teach kids at a young age just, about the importance of being around animals and teaching them about responsibility, because having a pet is a huge responsibility, and about unconditional love, and just kind of having that around children, I think, is such an incredible gift to give. So it was just really important to me to teach kids about that and mm-hmm. get them excited and, interested in animals, and also helping animals in need. And I wanted to do it, a different kind of book than my first two books, mm-hmm. just because this was a topic that I thought would be great for kids. It's a topic that's really important for people of all ages, of course. Animal rescue is something that people of all ages are interested in, but I think just making kids aware of it by telling them a story that, had some truth to it based off my experience with mm-hmm. Maverick, but also just showed the excitement of, a little girl getting her first pet and being able to tell all her friends all about her, new puppy. So mm-hmm. I wanted to do it in that format to just excite kids and to get kids, interested in the whole concept of animal rescue.
Sure. Now, talk about, there's a little part in the book where Scarlett, who's the character in the book, has a party to introduce all of her friends to Maverick, and how excited she and her friends were. Was that sort of an idyllic point of view? Was that kind of how your cousins came together for this puppy that you had? Is that where that was kind of, where that came from?
Yeah, it really came from my experience seeing my cousin's reaction to my dog, mm-hmm. And just how they would run and tell their friends. I remember bringing Maverick when he was a puppy to one of my little cousin's birthdays, and and she was running around telling everybody that her, cousin had a dog that was found under a freeway, and that he was, a little magical lion-looking dog, and all her friends got really excited about it. So that was really based off of real-life experience, and also just the experience of, I remember so well when I got my first dog, and just being so excited about it, and it being such a monumental moment in my life. So, I wanted to kind of recap that and allow kids to have a similar experience.
Sure. Let me get a break right here, Katherine, but when we come back, we want to talk about the storms and how so many pets are displaced, how people can connect with that, and most importantly, how people can connect with your work and get the book. Stay on point. We're back right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to the OPT Network. Our guest this morning is Katherine Schwarzenegger. Of course, she is the daughter of Maria Shriver and Arnold Schwarzenegger. She is a New York Times best-selling author, and she has written a children's book, her very first, called Maverick and Me. And the book is a beautiful illustration of dog rescue and also adopting dogs. And one of the things that I thought was really beautiful about the book, Katherine, was Phyllis Harris's illustration. Talk about how you guys came together to illustrate the book.
So I love Phyllis Harris, and I've loved being able to talk about her illustrations because, I grew up seeing my mom write children's books and just going through a bunch of different illustrators, and I did the same thing with my book because I wanted to, the illustrations were really important to me, but I also wanted to see who could, draw a really great picture of Maverick and make it most realistic, since the book is based off real life experience. And, we got a bunch of different samples of illustrators back, and Phyllis by far had the greatest drawing of Maverick, and also the greatest, series of drawings of, the story and just the overall vibe that I wanted kids to get from the book. So I'm really happy that we went with Phyllis, and I think that, she's such an incredible artist, and I'm really just overall happy with how the book turned out.
So Katherine, the fact that your mom also had written children's books, was that sort of like the impetus for you to know that you could write a children's book and to kind of have that that confidence that, your mom could kind of walk you through it, and that you had seen her do it as well?
I think just my parents have always been really supportive of all four of us kids, and whatever we want to do in life and whatever we're passionate about. And all three of my books have come from just things that I'm really passionate about. So, this book was no different, and I'm really passionate about animals and animal rescue in general. So, when I came up with the idea to do the book, I definitely, turned to my mom to be able to get advice on the process. But I've always been encouraged by both of my parents to, whatever I'm passionate in, to be able to, work in that area and make a difference. And I was raised always to be aware of the fact that you're on this earth to make a difference. And I, hope that each of my books have made a difference in someone's life, but most importantly in the lives of many animals. So I hope that they get adopted and rescued. But all of my mom's children's books have also taught lessons to children, which I think is really great and really important. And I want to do that with this book as well, is to just teach kids about something that's a big topic that I'm really passionate about, but in a way that kids can relate to it and learn from it and get excited about it. So there was a lot of, I went back and forth a lot with my mom just about advice and going over things. And, my mom is my best friend, so it just worked out really well that we could do a lot of different things together. And this book was no different, so I feel really lucky.
And what else I thought was really interesting about the book, Katherine, when it comes to children, there's a real compassion piece that sometimes gets lost in kids, early on, and the book really draws that in. It really helps kids have a sense of compassion for an animal that's hurting and left alone, that's sick. And so I think that that's one of the really important lessons and takeaways that I took from the book as well. That ability to really illustrate compassion in small children.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for that, because I think that, being able to grow up around animals as a child is such a gift, and it teaches you not only about responsibility and being comfortable around animals, but it teaches you so much about compassion and also unconditional love. And I think for a child to be able to have that energy around them is, such a huge gift at such a young age. So I feel really lucky that my parents gave that to me at a really young age, and that I had that, my entire life, and that I was always kind of surrounded by animals and different kinds of animals, and also just the overall feeling of having compassion, learning about compassion, but also learning about what it feels to have unconditional love. And, we need that no matter what our age is, but to have that at a young age is such a great thing.
Absolutely. And it's sort of one of those building blocks that sometimes gets missed. And so I think that was really a great part of the book. Now, with the storms, we've watched Texas be devastated, parts of Louisiana, and now Florida. And one of the things that we see through all of the film is we see people coming out with their animals. But what we don't see are the animals that have been left because, for whatever reason, people could only get themselves out and couldn't bring their animals. Talk about how important rescue and adoption is going to be at such a time as this.
I think that, obviously what's gone on with both hurricanes is tragic, and, so many people's lives have been, put out of place because of both hurricanes, and, people have been displaced, but animals have also been displaced. So I do a lot of work with the ASPCA as an ambassador for a lot of their programs, and one of the, great things when I went to New York last week and I went to the ASPCA center there was just learning about all the incredible work they're doing, not only in Houston, but last week to, prepare for the hurricane in Florida, and the work they're doing today to try and help rebuild. So a lot of people's homes obviously were ruined in the hurricane, and, some people were separated from their animals, and then a lot of the animals that were in adoption facilities have, been either moved early on or were displaced in the process. So you see such moving and heartbreaking pictures coming out of, both hurricanes, of people helping animals and helping, other people. And there's just so much work that we can do to help the people and animals that have been affected by both hurricanes. My family and we all went through all of our stuff in our homes to gather things to send to people and that were victims of both hurricanes, and to be able to do that for animals too is really important. So again, working with the ASPCA is such a great thing to see all the work they're doing to help rebuild in both places.
And I know that you're blogging a lot about what you and Maverick are doing, and just blogging in general. Before we've got to let you go, tell people how they can get the book Maverick and Me, and also how they can connect with your blog site and the things that you're doing and the things that you've got coming up.
Yeah, I have my website, which is KatherineSchwarzenegger.com, and we, talk a lot about things all under the umbrella of lifestyle, but also pets in general, and dogs especially for the next couple of months. So you can kind of keep up with what we're doing there, and hopefully be able to come to some of the fun things that we're doing around the book in different cities. So definitely do that. And then just following on social channels is really great, because I'm constantly updating and just making people aware of all the fun and exciting things that we have coming up for the book, and just trying to find pets homes. So so yeah. And then the book is available as of 1 week ago. It's available in stores, and then it's also available on Amazon online, and BarnesandNoble.com.
Absolutely. Katherine, the book is a very neat book, and I believe that it's going to invite families in to read, but also to get a better understanding about the special place that I believe is in God's heart for those people who foster and who care for and give, as you write in the book, forever homes to animals that are in need. Thank you so much for waking up early with us and sharing your book, Maverick and Me.
Thank you guys so much.
Indeed. Hey, everybody, stay on point. We're back right after this.